Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you today? I decided to come on live to talk about what we don't hear often from victims. Um, we don't. I just want to talk about it. For these last couple of weeks, I have been bumping into videos of people that were victimized when they were younger. I actually commend them because I know, as me being a victim of such thing, that sometimes is really hard to talk about because it brings you back to that hurtful state. But anyway, I have been watching and watching and watching. I'm like, God, why is it that I'm bumping into these type of videos? Especially when I'm on idle time, I like to watch things that's gonna enhance my thinking. Sometimes I feel like I could learn something from other people's testimony, because that's exactly what it is. But as you see, my title says the uncomfortable talk, which is in regards of any trauma that had caused any pain, any bad memories of their past, um and how they're coping, because we don't never get past we get past it, kind of, sort of. Well, let me speak for me. You don't actually get past it because it's with you forever, but it's like, how are we dealing, what are we doing that that is benefiting us to start our healing process and to heal a little bit more, right? Hey, Selena, how are you? Happy Saturday. So, I talk about my past. I'm not ashamed of it. I actually feel that the more I talk about it, the more I heal from it, the more I'm able to forgive a little more, um, with the person that actually did it and other people, um, but also people that hurted me, but not in that way. A lot of my unforgiveness comes from past trauma, um, holding on to the hurt, and I find myself talking about it more now, even outside of YouTube. And I feel like I'm like I have a breakthrough. Like I'm able to discuss it without crying, or even feeling like um I need, some sort of closure, because I don't know, in my past, that's what I was looking for, like a closure. Like, when is this man gonna pay for the things that he has done to me and other people? Like, why is it that I am the only person that's coming up speaking about what this man did to me? You know what I mean? A lot of us don't like to talk about it because we feel people are not gonna believe us. They're gonna label us to be crazy, and most of people's depression is because of that. I know I was one of them. Hey, young. No one likes to talk about it. You have a few, and I'm not gonna say no one. Some people don't like to talk about it because it's like revisited, um, the situation. But for me, I felt like the more I isolated the memories and stuff, that it was causing more harm than good. It was causing me to react, um, certain situations. It was causing me to be promiscuous. It was causing me um, to be very insecure about myself and what I look like, and I was very, very angry. That's how I can best describe it. Um, and you feel this emptiness, and I'm speaking for me because everyone deals with their trauma a little different. I just find it that God has gave me the strength to be bold enough to get up and tell my story. Um, you welcome, you welcome, you welcome. Nobody likes to talk about it, Selena. And I walk around here being so encouraging and stuff like that. But if people really knew what I went through, um, they would too try to understand like how am I making it. For one, let me just give a big shout out to my Lord and Savior who has kept my mind still during my adolescent age, and even in my adulthood. I thank God that I didn't go crazy. I thank God that what was done to me that I didn't repeat it to another child. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And me just hearing these stories, I'm like, God, why am I keeping seeing these stories? Why am I sitting here listening to these people that has been through similar things, but even worse? It was to show me that these people are so courageous. They went through hell and back. I only know of probably one, and I'm not even going to sit here and lie, that one memory of him doing what he was doing to me and me saying something to my mother at the age of 4. But being that, as a kid, you don't know no better. You're thinking these things are okay. Your mother ain't doing anything, and you're not thinking nothing of it. Being that I have mentioned it to my grandmother and my mother, I think it stopped him from going further with me. Was he successful with other people? No, he was not. He actually penetrated. Um, you know, with people that I have spoken to recently, um, and they had shared their story, and not for nothing, it was real comforting knowing that I wasn't the only one. And not and so that sounds crazy. I, it was more like, okay, all my life I felt like if I say something, they ain't gonna believe me. For another person to come out with a similar story with the same person, it kind of I felt validated, if I make sense. Hey Meek, hey beautiful, hey Crossface 57, hey Carla. How are you? I said, let me get on here and talk about this because it's it's like you see something repetitive. And then it's been for the last couple of months that I have been seeing stuff like this. And I'm like, my initial purpose was to get up on here, create a channel, and talk about the things that are uncomfortable like this. Talk about my past trauma and the things that I witnessed as a child and how I'm doing it today and where I'm at in my mental with all this. Um, what was I able to get past it? Um, and I'm like questioning myself for a minute, like, did I get past it? Am I holding on to something because I still feel like a residue of the aftermath? You feel what I'm saying? And every now and then I get in my little funk where I get discouraged. And see, that was another reason why I wanted to talk about this. Because part of why I was feeling discouraged was because of that. You don't like to mention certain things on here because people try to use your trauma against you as if you can't speak about it. You can't share these things with people because you're telling your business. Do you know how many times I have talked to my mom, and back in her days, you everything was kept shut. Nobody talked about it. Why are you telling your business? I get it why my mother said it, because people would take your trauma and try to use it against you. But back then I never understood why she would always say that to me. And I said to her the last time, I said, Ma, you want me not to talk about it and isolate myself? I said, I feel free when I talk about what was done to me. It's not to embarrass my parents because they did the best that they could with the little that they was taught. You know what I'm saying? Um, so when I said that, she just looked at me. I said, Ma, I have to get past this. I said, because I find myself crying at night, feeling like, damn, why did I have to experience this? I could have been somebody's teacher. I could have been somebody's doctor. I could have been anything that I wanted to be. But the fact that I didn't have an outlet to talk about it, I carried that on for years and it affected the way I interact with people. You know how people tried to give you constructive criticism. I wasn't good at taking them. I always wanted to fight. And I did not know that it had stemmed up to my past trauma. And how I found that out is that when all hell broke loose where I used to live at, the same girl that I had fought had brought that very same man, which is her father, to where we lived at, and that brought me back to that 4-year old girl. And I went ahead and took myself into therapy because I didn't understand where these feelings was coming. Like here I am in my 40s, feeling like this little girl, isolated, locking my doors, don't even want to come out, shades down. And of course, your mother knows you best. Mother used to come just out of nowhere, ring that doorbell. She's like, get dressed, let's go. You're getting out this house. Because she saw that I was slipping. Um, I really feel like if I would have stayed up there, I wouldn't have been in this mindset of talking about it freely to people that I don't know. I feel like my testimony and speaking on where I'm at and the recovery of it is gonna help someone find some sort of strength to start talking about what they experience. Um, what's that saying? You are free by the words of your testimony. Am I saying it right? You are free from the words of your testimony. It's something like this, something like that. Sister Love always used to mention it, so it kind of stuck with me. Um, and I never really, I used to hear it before, but I never really understood the meaning of that. I was always clueless with that until I started to see feel, not see, feel the freedom of by me talking about it, by someone saying to me out of nowhere, "Thank you for the words," because you never know what a person is thinking because we don't know each other on here. We don't personally know each other, so we don't know what goes on the brain. Um, everyone is speaking. Um, yes, Carla, I am good, sis. Meek, I'm good, fam. Could you be helping somebody, but at the same time, someone going to use it against you? Yes, and Carla, let me just say something. That's what held me from back because I used to be held against. Oh, you're a liar. You're this. You're crazy. You're this. All these damn labels that my family used to put on me, and that used to discourage me to even talk about it. Now, shit. Let them say that shit to me again, and how bold I'm going to be to talk about it because God has equipped me with strength now that I'm able to stand on my 2 feet against anyone that uses against me. I'm not ashamed of it. I didn't ask for it. Am I gonna cry about it? It is a sad situation that a person could go through something like that. That is a toxic, exposing you to sex, exposing you to things that you shouldn't know until you get married, right? I was exposed to all this stuff that kind of like changed me forever. He took my innocence. He robbed me from that. He robbed me from my first experience. I don't know what it's like to have someone, um, a boyfriend, to take my virginity because I feel like he took it. He took the innocence. He took the blindfolds off my eyes. So I felt like my virginity was taken at 4 years old, and that's how I feel. Are you doing better? Who me? Yeah, I have my moments, Lena. I have my moments where I just think about it and I just shake my head, and then I find myself in rage, wanting people to be warned because that's what I went through when he was when he resurfaced to where I lived at, and they used that as a form of intimidation. But you know what? God don't like ugly. I let God handle that. I think that's what hurt me more because here's the thing: me and you could be friends, right? And we could have a bad falling out to a point we fist fight. Something like that, I would never discuss. I promise you, I call you all types of B's and dirty C's and elemental P's, but that I will never touch it. No one can ever say that I used something so traumatic against someone and threw it in their face, because that's some hurtful shit. And for me to receive that from a family member after I don't poured, first of all, I didn't want to tell her because that was her dad. But she, between her and her sister at the time, she was the only one with a child, which was a little girl. And also she was naive. She was wanting that father and daughter relationship. God forbid something happened to her as a little kid that she blocked it from her dad because her dad is a drug addict. He has always been a dope addict. And some people, some drug addict. I don't know one drug addict that shot up heroin and was mentally stable. Absolutely not. So I don't know if he's done anything to her or her sister. I just knew that if I didn't tell her, and God forbid something was to happen to her daughter, that I would have felt the more of the impact of the guilt of not sharing this. It was definitely not to hurt her. It was definitely to warn her, and she used that to hurt me. And I'm gonna say she succeeded because I was depressed to no return, going to psychics. Because first of all, let me just state this: her mother does witchcraft, so I used to sit up under them. Um, and spirits transfer, so always felt this stronghold, but for some reason the mother couldn't touch me because of the anointing I got over my life, despite of my curiosity. And this is even after was trying to find out, because when I tell you the feeling that I got from that, I cannot explain. It was like I was getting ready to have a panic attack. And I could not understand for my life, why would a person use something so to hurt someone? People like that are not really nice people. Um, I know that's right. It's always better to help, but sad to say, some can't talk to family because they tend to judge you all the time, Carla. Let me tell you something. I have one living art that I have no relationship with. And that's on my mom's side. My dad's side, the only aunt that I did have a relationship with, she's no longer here, and who took her place just not too long ago passed away. And that's the last relative that moved on in October. So they knew about it. They always believe me. That's one thing I loved about my aunt on my dad's side of the family, because I share these things with her, and she was sort of the outlet. Although she never mentioned it to my dad because she knew my dad was crazy and didn't want him to be in trouble. But back in them days, they didn't really talk about stuff like that. Everything was swept under the rug. And now that we in this generation, you have people that sometimes think that if you share your business, that you're putting your business out there for people to attack. But why should we be afraid to tell our story? See, the enemy will do that. The enemy will use your trials and tribulation to let you know if you share it, these people going to talk about you. But if when you have God in your life and you rely on His strength and His strength only, He will give you that strength to speak up, and it will give you your power back, like it's given me. You know, um, I know what I did with my kids. I not occasionally, I often had discussions with them about good touch, bad touch. In even before they was able to really talk like that, I always say no, 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 mommy, no, daddy, no, because you got to include us too, because we all know that we hear a lot of stories about these young women or young men um and being how you say sodomized. Well, I don't want to use no big words. Being victimized by getting groomed or even getting to that point where there's penetration. You know what I'm saying? um Today I was on on my phone playing my Candy Crush, and I usually get Charlotte's breaking news, or if something comes up, that it comes up in my news feed. And when I seen it, and I seen the teacher charged with something, she was charged with something because the kid was 18. I don't know if he was underage, but she got fired. And anyway, I read up on it, and which is the old school that my friends' kids used to go to before they moved. And this teacher was having sexual relations with a 18-year-old student in the park on the same strip. And how they were able to find out was one day the boy's mother had called the school, and she found out that her son wasn't at some practice, some sports thing that he's into practice. So she started tracking his phone. Once she was able to get a location, she went to that location and she busted them in the act, having sex in the car. And I'm like, how fucking crazy people is. And I'm just gonna let my guards down, because I be trying not to curse. It's because it is sometimes cursing don't really get your point across. And I have a powder mouth, so I'm practicing to speak other words than the F. But today I'm just gonna let it loose. But I was like, how fucking crazy people is. I've noticed that the teachers down here, they're not even 22, 23. These teachers is coming straight out of college, teaching in the school system. So they yet to experience shit. You know what I'm saying? But for a woman to be a teacher, to get it, and you're not thinking, that's the sickness. You're not thinking the penalties of if you shack with this kid. Yeah, 18 is at the age where you can't really get in trouble, but you a teacher. Like, the shit is crazy. Um, oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, Carla. I know in New York I hear a lot about it, but this one I'm like, I read it. I'm like, oh shit. Let me hit my friend up with the screenshot, because it's the same school that her godson and her daughter went to, just to make sure nothing happened to them. I start listen. The one thing about me, that experience, I when I hear stuff like that, it just does something to me. Like, I become a Power Ranger. I'd be ready to zap a couple of people. But yeah, that shit is crazy. It is happening, and it's happening often. And I know there are parents that's talking to their kids. I don't know if they're discussing it in schools. I feel like they should really make sure, especially in the great elementary schools, they should stress it because there are kids right now that goes to school and is hiding a secret. This didn't stop. This situation doesn't stop just what meant my situation. This shit is still happening. There are so many sick motherfuckers out there that are doing things like this to little kids. And people find time to sit there and argue with people. We got so much in front of us that we have to pay attention to. Because if we're not paying attention, we'll miss out on the lesson. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm making sense, but just watching these things and then this recent article, I'm like, when is this gonna stop? I feel like these people that are pedophiles, predators, should be given tough penalties. It ain't no treatment for that. It's no treatment for that. My uncle has been in and out of jail. I don't know what's happened in his lifetime, and I really don't give a fuck. All I know is that all my life since he was in his 16, 17, was in and out of jail. He was on drugs heavy. My grandmother always was there. Of course, a mother is going to always show the love, but I kind of feel like she knew about it. She just didn't want me to talk about it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot of bullshit. And I feel like that's what prevents me from having a relationship with my mother's side of the family. I just thank God that I haven't lost it. I thank God that I have found that strength in God to come out here and speak in my truth, because there's freedom in your testimony when you're able to talk about it. You're able to get a little more better, a little more healing. Hey, Nitty, what's up, boo? But I still have the residue, certain things that I'm trying to snap myself out of it, but it's not easy when you're so used to being a certain way or your life to try to do something. And it's like a pattern, you know that I had, that I'm finding myself trying to reprogram my thinking on how I receive things, and not feeling defeated, not feeling insecure. I don't want to feel like that no more. I really don't. I want to continue feeling how I'm feeling so I could be a blessing to somebody else. I ain't here to be the content creator with the best talk, or with the whole bunch of subscribers. If I could keep 5 in my chat, I am doing God's will. I'm getting a message out to somebody that it's okay to talk about it. I am free from the words of my testimony. And believe me, that statement in the Bible is so true. You are free from the words of your testimony. And believe me, I haven't felt so free in my life ever, ever. I even talk to people that have been victimized, and they look at me like, yo, they tell me in Spanish, Nena, you're freaking strong. And I'm like, me? Girl, just the other day I was crying my ass off. And they would look at me like, what you was crying about? I said, I don't know. Sometimes you don't know what the hell you're crying about. You just fucking cry. And if you notice with my lines, I've been a little emotional because a lot of things started to surface because of the things that I was watching. I was feeling the way. I hate it when I hear that other kids or other adults had experienced something, and even worse, it makes me look at my situation now. First of all, let me just thank God that he did not penetrate, but he did get access to let his penis touch my private area, where I was able to feel a sensation down there, which I found out later on um in my life that that's a natural feeling that a human gets. But for so long I felt so guilty for feeling the way I was, feeling like how I felt because it was foreign to me. When somebody rubs you and it makes you feel good, you just it's not that I enjoyed it because I didn't know no better, but just the feeling, if you get what I'm saying. I know you heard of the teacher a while back who was married and had children with a student and went to jail. Her name is, I think, Mary J. Lauren. Which was that in New York? Cause I know a teacher up there. A teacher, somebody was pregnant and didn't do no time. That's the I don't know if she was. Uh, I don't want to say she was Hispanic. She was Hispanic looking, but looking like Indian, and she didn't do no time. Yes, Carla. She has since passed away. Oh, I need to read up on that. So she passed away. There's another teacher that I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna look for it first and make sure. But I remember the face that the girl was having sexual relations with the student, and they found out, and then she found out that she was having this baby. That shit was crazy. The people are wicked. It's not even the men. You gotta watch everybody. Mother, father, uncle, sister, brother, cousins. You can't trust nobody. And the education starts with us when we have these kids. They are our first fruit. We know how it felt growing up. My goal was to make sure that my kids was aware because I wasn't aware of certain things coming up. I didn't know about good touch, bad touch. They didn't really start talking about that shit until I was about 11, 12 years old. I was already wounded. I was already wounded. He done did it. The female, I was probably like 8, 7, 8. Got the supposed to be a friend of the hood, church people, and she molested me. The friend that my sister had, her father, if my sister did not call me, he would have succeeded. But the fact that my sister had called me, and I remember I had my sailor dress. That was my favorite Easter dress that my mother got me, and I was still wearing it even after Easter. I think it was Valentine's Day. That's crazy, right? The following year, shit was so small, but I loved it. And he was like looking, pointing in his private area, and he went to go touch my leg to go up my skirt, and my sister was like, Maritza, and it startled him, and he pulled back. He's like, shh. But I used to torment that motherfucker. Every time I see him, I say, "You remember what you did to me?" I don't know that much Spanish, but he understood my Spanish. He was so scared. I said, "Mamau, sucker." That means bendejo. I was cussing his ass because I was bad. I was bad, but I was also letting him know. I remember. No, she was white. Her victim was 13 years old. She had children by him. I think I remember that. She went to jail for years, came out, and married him. She passed away from cancer a few years back. And I'm about to say something, just keep it to myself. Actually, damn. Right near didn't his mom end up raising the first child? That shit is crazy, man. People are sick. Um, I feel like God gives us these platforms to speak out, and I feel like we should talk about it more on what we can do to educate, the kids that we are raising if they are at that adolescent, still at a young age, because not all of us is 49 like me. Some of us still can have kids. Um, I know my ass can't. It's over. This factory has been shut down 23 years ago. Um, Yes, he had custody and his mom raised him. Yo, that shit is crazy. And then when the child, what the child has to, because that shit is in the news. They read up on their mother and find out that your mother was a predator to your dad. They're probably the same age by now, 12 years, probably 31, and you probably be 41, 42. That's crazy. Um, it's just sickening. It's just sickening. Um, I feel like they need to enforce this shit. They need to reevaluate these teachers and making sure. And sometimes they may not have records because they done got away with certain things. But I with this teacher from down here, this was not her first time. She has done it before, and she looks super young. I promise you, she looked like my the age of my youngest. My youngest just turned 23. What made you mess with an 18-year-old? Even though in the law, that's it's called consensual sex, but you are a teacher. You're superior than him, and you're doing these things in a fucking park in a car. How embarrassing! How disgusting of a woman to take an aid to somebody else's son. Man, listen. If I would ever have to bump into that, God forbid. Well, God has kept my kids. Thank God for that. My ass would have went to jail. She definitely would have got the WWF. And not the fake shit that you see on TV. I definitely would have full Nelson her ass. I would have choked her ass out for doing something. I don't give a fuck if he's 18 years old. He's a grown. You superior. The fuck you supposed to be teaching my son, not teaching my son sex. Let him find out organically, like other people find it organically. Well, I didn't find out about sex organically. I was forced to be exposed to shit like that. But yeah, people don't like to talk about it. I feel like we should talk about it. We should talk about it more. We don't I feel like we don't talk about it enough. I feel like there's so many victims that's scared to talk up because of the fear of what people's gonna say. Oh, you've been molested. You crazy. You this. You that. You know how many times I heard that shit? I am numb to that shit. When people call me crazy because 9 times out of 10 I done snapped on their ass. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking crazy. I am that fucking crazy bitch. Let's go. Well, I ain't crazy. I got better sense. I got better sense. I know what the hell I do, and I know sometimes when I do shit is not of God. I know what I'm doing. I take accountability for it. I don't always get shit right, but I know what I'm doing. So, I know for a fact that something like that. 23 years old, I wanted a grown ass man. That he wasn't he bragging to his friends at school and her kids went to the same high school. Yup. I think I know that story, Carla. I think I do. I'm gonna read up on it just to refresh. But yeah, all that is happening. Then it was a lady in the Bronx. Well, I'm watching the news in New York. And I think either my sister, no, my sister wasn't there, but I'm watching it. And I'm like, yo, why this fucking girl look so familiar? Meantime, I get a phone call. My sister was like, turn on to Channel 7, which is the news. And she was like, look at this story. It's gonna come up again. Cause usually every half an hour they repeat the story that they just did. And I'm listening. She said, you know who the fuck that is? That's that bitch. Such and such and such and such. Remember the sister I used to hang with? She made a pass at me and I denied her. She stopped being my friend. Oh God. Oh, that was the sister. And I'm like, that girl was my age and she was out there like that. She was having sex before I was having sex. And I don't know, 16 years old, these kids just having sex. They was back in my days, that was forbidden. My father said, if you have sex, I'm kicking your ass. I was scared of the dick. until I, was defined and wanted to be like everybody else. And they got hooked to it. But you know what I'm saying? I'm joking, but I'm not. I got hooked on it. It was that's when I really became promiscuous. And I was like, why is my cat jumping like this? Because of the stuff that I was exposed to. My man had a nice ride of it. And then everything just shut the hell down because we still have the residue of it. And sometimes I blame from what I was exposed to. I want to be sexually active. I want to spin. I want to do jumping jacks. I want to do a split. But no, I feel like part of why I'm like the way I am is because of the things that I was exposed to. I'm all sexed out. If I'm making sense, I'm just being honest. Scared of the thickest of meat. Carly, you crazy. You're crazy. Yeah, girl. I'm telling you, I'm 49 years old. Not now I'm going through the changes. The perimenopause. No, I'm not old. And just because a person goes through the changes doesn't mean they old. It just means that the factory has says I'm finally shutting this shit down and no more babies. And now feel the wrath from not having no babies. So the ones that are still fertile, hold on to your eggs. Because once some eggs go, you're going to have tropical moments often. And they're going to come without warning. One day you're going to be cold. The next day you're going to be hot as hell. You're going to be hot. You're going to be stripping. You're going to be itchy because your skin is overheated. Yeah, I be going through it. And then you'd be feeling like your damn cat is broke. Did the cat lose all their 9 lives? Did y'all ever? Because it's we all adults here, right? Did you ever hear that song? Oh, I'm gonna say Coochie. Uh, oh man, what is the name? I'm gonna ask my man later. It says Coochie, don't fail me now. I'm gonna wanna get around. I can't even get the words. I don't want nobody else. So please don't fail me now. I have to talk to my shit. Pussy, don't fail me now. And I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna share it on my community wall so that you can see what I'm talking about. And then tomorrow morning I'm gonna erase it because it's a real nasty. It's like you're talking to your cat to not break the you better not fail me now. I'll be trying to talk to her. Is it? No, I don't think it's Missy Elliott. She's a new artist. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna mute you. Man, my man usually know all the damn song name. He's the one that introduced me to the damn song. But I'm definitely gonna post it, and you gotta listen to the words. It's hilarious, but it's like a conversation with your female part. Like you in the middle of getting ready to have relations, and you're like, all right, now we're gonna pep talk, and then you start talking to it. Let me see. Missy Elliott, look at Meek. I did, Carla. I was 47 years old when I stopped my cycle. I'm 52 now, so I haven't had a cycle in 5 years. You lucky with you. Nitty, you are freaking lucky. Wow, Nitty, hysterectomy, no. Perimenopause, no, I guess. You had a hysterectomy, Meek? I heard people, one of my friends that's actually younger than me, She was having real heavy bleeding. And she got a full hysterectomy. And she said, girl didn't wait no time. She was sweating in her sleep and doing this and doing that. I always been a hot child. So I don't know the difference, but I've noticed that my freaking feet gets hot. I mean, when you know the damn song, Pussy, it's called Pussycat. You would know that song. Me. Let me find out. You have to have the conversations too. To everything but ovaries. That's why I didn't go into menopause. Oh, right, Meek. It's Missy Elliott, Pussycat. Oh, you know what? Let me tell him. Hold on. Hold on. I feel like such a weirdo. I be trying to feel like I'm talk like I'm hip and stuff, but I let me tell you something. My man is in tune. I love. First of all, I love music. I find therapy in music. Most of the time of my depression, music has been my outlet to bring me out of that, especially worship music, Christian music that's saying something that's gonna bring me back. Younger women gravitate to me and used to laugh when I got overheated, but now they're tail going. Yeah, the joke is on their ass now, right? Uh huh. My mother she don't calls it senior moments. I don't even think she goes through it. She gets these flashes, but she keeps a fan. One of them Chinese fans. But when my mother used to get them flashes, you better move the fuck out her way. She was already a elf. She was a mean elf when she used to go through it. She's like, oh, then just I'm having a tropical moment, and I'm like, isn't tropical moments supposed to feel nice? I said, you look like you're overheating over there. I wake up in the middle of the night feeling like someone poured a bucket of water. Oh, bendito. Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, like people don't like to talk about like what we do with menopause. See, I suffer from heavy bleeding. Um, and when I got it checked, they said that my uterine line, when I get my menstrual, like it creates these little cysts. I could have got a scraping back then if I really wanted to. But having a good doctor was like, they use your vajayjay usually cleans itself. So as you have your period there, it'll go, and as you get older, it'll simmer. You won't have so much heavy bleeding. I started experiencing that in my early 30s. Shit is still the same. I've noticed it's not over exceeding to 2 weeks. No, I don't have that. Trying to ruin your life. Yeah, man. I'm starting to cramp. And I'm due for a checkup, so I'm gonna check again to see where I'm at, to see if I can get a DNC. I really don't want to go through the full menopause because KY jelly is gonna be my friend. I'm gonna have to take something, take some hormone pills or something. I can't let my man suffer. He said, "What your mouth do? What it do? I use it to talk, right? I can't be using. Once that goes, I can't be using both mouths. Where they do that at?" But anyway, yeah, yeah. Part of it is that, and then I feel like some of my non-desire of having sex comes from of what I was exposed to, and it's sad. It's sad, and I'm trying to get out of it because my man is not my uncle. He did not do that to me, but I just be having my moments, you know, and then going through the changes doesn't fucking help. Selena, I'm 61 and I have fans, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, etc. Shit, Carla, I'm 49 and I do that shit now. I've been doing that all my life. Foot out the window in the blizzard. I'm from New York. When there's a blizzard, when it snows, it's fucking cold. And when it used to snow, you would think I would turn my window, close my window. I had that shit wide open, fan hitting me, feet out the window with just the underwears on. I was like, are you crazy? So I've probably been going through it ever since. Carla, hopefully I will get to 61 and beyond. You are still blessed. Yes, honey, 61, you still young, girl. You still young. You're aging, you're aging gracefully. Cause 61 is no longer 61. 61 is more like 41. You know what I'm saying? My mother's 70 years old. Thank God she reached that age. By the way, my mother says thank you to everyone that has wished her a happy birthday on the 29th. She actually reminded me today and wrote out a whole thing just thanking. I'm gonna post it later. Just to thank everyone that said happy birthday. My mother's more grateful now than ever to celebrate her birthday because quite a few months ago it was almost take me to the king. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that, but my mother had an eye opener, and it humbled her in such a way that healing started. If you feel what I'm saying. You're sad. Yeah, your birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. You just celebrated a birthday, Selena. Happy birthday, boo. Yes, I was raised by a Sagittarius, and y'all crazy, but y'all crazy. Y'all love it crazy. Don't fuck with you. Y'all crazy. Did I ever tell you the story how my mother used to argue with big people? Mind you, my mother's 4'11". I'm 5 1/4, so we ain't too far from height. That means I'm still small, right? But I never, when it came to my mother and my father, I don't play that shit. My dad, he could take care of himself, but my mother, I was like, I don't give a fuck if my mother started it. Don't you fucking disrespect my mother. Until one day she came, I went to pick her up because she loaned me her car, and she said, "Let me drive." And I don't know, she was going through a moment, and she started cussing that lady out, and I was cussing too. And then that motherfucking lady came out the car, and both me and my mother started from the floor, and we looked up. I said, now I'm gonna have to fight this big bitch because of your mouth. She said, I don't give a fuck. My mother's like a little chihuahua. My mother will grab something and fucking stick you with it real quick. I'm saying I argue with them. Yeah. Yeah, when I tell you y'all fearless. And one of her friends says I have that feisty trait as my mom. My dad, the only time I ever witnessed him or heard of him fighting is when someone was trying to steal his tools out his van. Those was his bit. That was his money maker. So he did. He the two times that he fought, he was at work because they tried to steal it. But with my mother, she's feisty. I had to be on guard. I'm like, yo, mom, you can't be doing that. I had to have a little sit down moment with her. I said, mom, you can't be doing that. Arguing with people. What if something happens to me? Well, you don't have to say I can take care of myself. Like I'm gonna let you fight this big ass lady. You fucking crazy. Yeah, say happy birthday to Selena, a sad sister. Also, Donya. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's very funny. Um, you gotta tap into her. She's an amazing woman. Very strong lady and funny as a mother. She is funny. Very gifted, and she's very nice until you fuck with her. I guess that's with everyone. You got the good side, and you got that side that you don't want to tap into. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, I wanted to talk about the uncomfortable talk, which is past trauma, whether it's molestation, whether you've gotten raped, um, whether not you per se, just in general. anything that's traumatic that caused some sort of hurt and a forever memory in your life. People don't like to discuss it. No, I don't want to talk about it. Talk about it, and then we isolated our thoughts and start getting depressed. And people say mental illness is real. People make it seem like because someone is labeled as PSTZ, whatever them letters is. I don't mean it, no disrespect, but you know what the letters I'm talking about. You shouldn't talk about it. People don't want to say nothing because of the fears of people's opinions. I say fuck them. Speak your truth. Your truth is going to set you free. Your truth is going to set somebody else free. And I do believe that. We all have something to share. We all have something that we learn from that that thank you, Carla, that we can extend to another person that may be having a hard time getting past their situation. Our very words could be the one that saves someone from unaliving themselves. Do you know there's people that's older than me that has made attempts, but the fact that they wasn't successful, they still here living with it. And I feel like part of it is because everyone that they was around didn't take the time to say, are you okay? Do you need to talk? Would you like to talk about, oh, it happened many years ago? It's okay. Do you need an ear right now? That's why I'm the way I am towards people. I try not to get in my head. I try not to feel no way. I just try to be available when I can, when someone needs to talk, whether it's talking about anything traumatic or something it's just so simple. I just want to vent. I try to be there because when we shelter the thoughts, I don't care what nobody said, we get affected by it. Some way, some how. We get affected by it. And I feel like if you could find one person that you can really value their opinion or their words of encouragement, why not free yourself from it? Yeah, I was a guy experienced it, but I you know how much of a blessing that someone could confide in me with something like that. That gives me honor to tell them what I experienced, so that they could look at their situations like, damn, she's making it. She's always coming out. Always, you will never know I'm going through something unless I tell you. I come out my house with a smile on my face. I'm a chatterbox. I'm chatty Maritza. I'm friendly Maritza. You would never know until I speak of it. Like, damn, girl, you went through that. I sure did. And I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm able to talk about it. I'm able to talk about it with my chest out because guess what? I ain't on crack. I ain't in no mental institution. I know my left to my right. Wait a minute. Sometimes I gotta retell myself this is your left hand. And that's because of the Mary Jane residue in my brain. Uh, ain't no residue. It's the Mary Jane because I'm still doing it. Um, so, I kind of got to remind myself. But, I feel good when I talk about it. I feel good that someone could come to me and say, yo, when I was younger, so and so touched me. And you can see the hurt that they deal with. Like, well, look what I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing with my pain. I'm pushing it to a purpose. Pain is my testimony is painful, but it's also an outlet to let people know that it's okay. It's okay to cry. I have my moments when I come in here and I just look in the mirror, nose flaring. My nose is already big. So my nose hole get a little more wider. My eyes, I'm looking ugly. But I gotta let that cry out because hold that shit in, then I'll be snapping. So when I cry and I cry and I let it all out, Thank you, Selena. I tried to be a testimony, and then people be trying me too. Be trying to take me off my course, but I got to keep reminding myself that I'm on a mission on these YouTube streets, whether it's to be in support, whether it's to give words of encouragement. But my sole purpose was to get out here and speak my truth, so that oh, someone can be inspired to speak their truth, to start talking about it, or even if it's not coming out here what I'm doing, going to seek therapy. It's okay to get therapy. I'm still considering to go see someone to talk to, because I had, like I said, I still have the aftermath that I still deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not going to tell someone don't go to therapy. It doesn't work for me. No, go. You'd be surprised. You won't know something worked for you if you don't try it. I know the 1 or 2 days that I spoke to that lady um, about the situation and what I felt at the moment, and I never have felt that way. That was like the first time ever, because the person that did this to me used to groom me by saying, "You're my favorite niece. You're my favorite niece." And I'm like, "Why am I favorite niece?" Because I never talked. But I'm like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. But let me tell you, I'm glad I'm not in that headspace anymore. I'm glad that I'm able to talk about it when I can and tell people what I've been through. That's on the "You Don't Know My Story. You don't know the things that I've been through." Oh man, you don't know why I give him all the glory, because if it has not been for him to snatch me up in the nick of time, I don't know where I'll be. That's a strength of a woman, a person that looked at his kids and said, "Cannot buckle." I used to look at my kids. I said, "I cannot buckle, because if I buckle, my kids are gonna see it." And they was constantly watching their mother. And they sort of, now that they're older, especially my youngest one. Oh, he was like, "Ma, I don't know how you do it." I tell my friends all the time, my mother's strong. She has overcome, but she stayed determined. That's where I get it from. She don't let nothing bring her down. I couldn't. And like I explained to them, I said, "You know why, right? Because of you and your brothers. I couldn't fold. I didn't have time to fold. I had to raise y'all and make sure that to let you know, just in case, it's okay to talk about it. You come to me. You don't, it's wrong. You're not supposed to have sexual intercourse at that age. You're supposed to be an adult." Instill that in their head, so they know. And then anyway, I never really let my kids spend the night nowhere unless it was to my sister house or to my mom's, to alleviate all that, other people. I knew that they didn't have traffic like that. And when my sister went and picked up my kids, um they would go to her house and then she would bring them home. If she had company, she'll bring them home. But anyway, that concludes my little story. I want people to be brave enough to talk about what they've been through. Like I said, you are free by the words of your testimony. Free yourself if you holding on to whatever, any bitterness, unforgiveness. Free yourself and start forgiving. Do baby steps. Take one day at a time. Thank God that you're not where you're supposed to be. I mean, thank God that you're not how you should have been from your trauma. And give God the glory for allowing you to see and be and not let it go in vain. Meaning being able to come out with strength to discuss the things that you have experienced as a child and where you at today. I ain't where I'm supposed to be, but I know I'm where God needs me to be. I got my high school diploma. I went back for that. I have a clerk type of certificate. I am Microsoft Word certified. I just can't work. I got all these credentials now and I can't even use it. But I showed my kids something that it was never too late to go back. But I could have did it on time if I didn't have these things that I was dealing with. But God had a different plan. He knew that I was going to go back to school. He knew that I was going to fight to get through whatever I was experiencing or what I was feeling at the moment. He knew I would get to this point to discuss because he made me to do that. Good night, baby. So, definitely I encourage anyone just to discuss it. If you don't want to discuss it with anyone that's on this internet, go seek professional help. Please go. Gotta pull up and root and out my love. It's hard, but definitely a good thing. Yeah, you just take baby steps, boo. That's all you gotta do. Take baby steps, baby steps. Um, and that testimony of you, that test that you've been through, is only gonna enhance somebody else. It's gonna all serve its purpose. But anyway, it is over an hour. I hope that my content was bringing some sort of awareness. Please, if you have grandchildren, if you have kids coming over to your house, kids, friends, godchildren, it takes a village. It just doesn't take the parents. Reinforce these things about good touch, bad touch. Because the more these kids hear it, the more knowledge they get, and the more understanding to know that what these people is doing is wrong, and it has to start with us. So on that note, I'm going to say a quick prayer. Father God, I thank you right now for the message for the day. Father God, thank you for your strength. Thank you for your guidance. And most of all, thank you for not giving up on me. On this day, God, I need you to continue to keep a hedge of protection, not only on me, on anyone under the sounds of my voice. Father God, I ask you to continue to order our steps, to show us the way. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. You have a wonderful night. Wait a minute, you hear me? My pastor's father violated her, and my pastor's father violated her, and she wasn't supposed to be able to have kids, and she has four. So your pastor's a female. God bless her. God bless her, because man don't have the last say. God has the last say. But I'm sorry that she had to experience that. But look what she's doing now. She's God is using her. God is using her in such a tremendous way. Good evening, Gary. Bust it down, Brown. Good evening. Good evening. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Not beautiful that she experienced it, but the fact that God can take your testimony, your trauma, and bring you to the place where you're speaking about it, where you're bringing awareness and telling people how you got through it and how you still keep getting going through it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm I'm not getting by my own understanding. I ain't doing this shit. It is God's strength that He has given me to keep pushing. Don't stay stuck. I survived. I'm able to talk about it. And just because this man didn't pay on earth, when he leaves depart this earth, he's gonna have to question. He's gonna have to answer the question from God. So with that, I am good with it. I'm taking my hands off. I don't took my hands off. I let God deal with him. If I do see him when I go to New York, I don't say nothing. What the resting bitch face is straight up. He's scared of me anyway. I intimidate him because I'm talking. Them predators. Them predators fear the ones that talk. They will never fear the ones that are not talking. So I'm the one with the big mouth, and I don't give a hell. But anyway, be blessed, and listen. Have an open ear. If it becomes a little too much, take a breather. But just know God is going to give you the strength to endure, to give you the words to give to them, And if you have experienced anything that can help someone, is to is I feel like it's gonna help somebody else. I do believe that with my whole soul. So just continue to be great. Continue to, well, if you have experienced any trauma like I did, know that God is about to open the floods of heaven to bless us in a tremendous way. What we thought we lost, He's gonna double it. He's gonna increase. This is the season of elevation, and I heard that from Try Me Now. It is the season of elevation. I have been feeling it myself, and she confirmed it today. God is elevating not just only me, not just this only content creators. It's everyone that has experienced the shift. Meek, you just recently moved, right? It's a shift. So wait a minute. Amen. Husband and wife. What? The devil never goes for someone he already won. And Gary, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The ones that he can't win is the one he does not have a chill button for. So if you're like me, experiencing situations left and right, and you're wondering why you're going through so much turmoil, it's because of something that God put inside of you. And I believe that. Because I'm telling you, since I've been down here, I've just been under attack. I'm really being nice to people now. I'm like really walking with the Lord on my shoulders and in my chest. I don't want to fight with nobody, but then I find myself arguing with people that has not yet healed themselves for whatever they experience. I'm like, the hell is going on? But God knew that at this time that I was not going to be that same Maritza and Snap. That I have a little more control. She had to have him walk her down the aisles. God's orders. I can't imagine. Well, listen, that was what man said, right? If didn't have to walk her down the aisle. Listen, I would never have a fucking relationship with my uncle. And God forgive me, I don't wish him no harm, even after what he's done to me and so many others. I don't want his ass in my prison. I don't even want him to know what's going on with my fucking life. God would have to give me a pass for that. Man put so much stipulation on our spiritual walk, but God says, why should we? He violated that a long time ago. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, you know, God bless her. I'm glad to hear that she is a pastor because she's in the right place. And I pray that she continues to find strength, to continue to keep that strength that she has to keep her afloat and to speak the word of God. Because it's hard to deal with. Not a lot of people are like me. There's a lot of people that are taking uh they taking medicine to keep their mind still. I pray that that marriage is blessed. Um, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You want to do the right thing, but how can you do the right thing when the right thing is a reminder of your past that caused you hurt? I don't think God said you have to deal with that. He violated that. Let me tell you something. Um, if my dad wasn't around, I would still have my stepfather walk me down the aisle. And and as a matter of fact, when I do get married, I'm just not gonna have my dad. I'm gonna have my stepfather too. You know why? Because he played a part of my life for 13 years as a bonus dad. He gets that entitlement too. He treats my kids. My kids call him grandpa. They don't know him by no step grandpa. No, like we don't believe in no step nothing. You my pops. That's my daddy. You my pops. You my step pops. And I don't really like to use steps. scary. Super good marriage. Yes, yes. God protected that. But anyway, I love y'all. It's almost 9 o'clock. I know somebody is on. Um, like this was a surprise pop up. I just was. It was just weighing on my spirit to go live and talk about this because I kept seeing the same thing, just different stories and um people having getting pregnant by their own father and stuff, stories like that. That I that my man was like, why are you watching that? That's not gonna make you depressed. No, that makes me eager to find out how they doing it. Because when you speak your story, people want to know how are you doing it. Why are you still smiling? You should be in the institution somewhere. No, just like we find the strength to keep it pushing and speak our truth. They are doing it too. They're doing amazingly because they're up and up and out there on videos and stuff. Not me. Okay, please, please. You got my emails in my description. I think my about. I don't even think it's an about section anymore. But if you hit that arrow where they have the description, it will give you my email. You can email me that. Okay. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, be blessed. Thank you for tapping in. I hope that I made some sense and I was speaking about something that we all are seeing out here in this world with these kids being victimized by predators and in the schools and in our own families and friends and stuff like that. Um, Definitely we got to enforce this good touch, bad touch, and it definitely takes a village to raise these children. Even when these kids leave our sites, I pray that God will use someone to speak and stop them in their tracks as if I would do it to theirs. One man told her husband thought she was crazy and her sister, but she said she heard from God to show her what she was breaking away from and being delivered into. Yeah, well, when God talks to your spirit, you gotta listen. And he had a reason for her to go down, but I know me, that motherfucker kicked rocks with gasoline socks on. He could go to hell. He would never. That relationship has been ruined with me and him. I don't have a relate. All I know is him stealing from my parents and being in jail and being a drug addict. That's all I being a child molester. But I'm good. I'm still here, right? I'm here still talk about it. Um I'm being the more I talk about it, the more I feel free. The less I feel sad. I promise you, I don't feel sad. It's just every now and then I get sad when I talk about certain topics because it's like I'm being delivered from what I was holding on to. Um, and I'm getting sensitive. When I was holding on to things, I was very tough, very tough. But now that I'm releasing and getting rid of these things from me, I'm becoming more human, if I make sense. But anyway, thank you all. Thank you. I will be chiming in sometime next week. Um, and I am gonna still post that song so you can listen to it. So the topic we was talking about my ooh-ha being broke when we feel like it's out of commission. You know what I'm saying? Then we start talking. But anyway, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Be great. Walk on purpose and be a blessing. This is the season of giving, which it's always a season to give. If you find it in your heart to be a blessing to a family, do it. If you want to make a couple of plates to give to 2 or 3 homeless people, and that's all you got, do it. Because God takes care of us when we take care of others. On that note, be blessed, and I love you. Bye bye.